Hey there, welcome to another Real Time with Ray conversation. And we're going deep today because today we're talking about your mini-me. Okay, so I'm just going to dive right in. As always, chime in, leave your comments, share your thoughts and everything, because this is the place where we have real talk about your real-time issues with your man, your money, and your mini-me. And so I was having a conversation yesterday, and I was talking with a superwoman who was having a real-time issue with her mini-me. And I'm going to tell you what she's going through or whatever. But I want to preface by saying this. No judgments, okay? Absolutely no judgments, because it might not be you. You might not understand. You might not relate. But everybody is not you, okay? So that's just fair. Your experiences are different than others. Others' experiences can be different than yours. So no judgments, because people are going through what they're going through, how they process it, how they think about it, how they feel about it. Like, it's their experience, and you can't minimize a person's experience. It's best to have empathy. And not always sympathize, but definitely empathy, and, look for ways where you can maybe support, and sometimes the support includes correction, but make sure that however you're correcting or whatever you're sharing and correcting is not judgmental. It's not coming from a place of judgment, and people know when it's a place of judgment. Believe me, they sense it, like they're like dogs sense fear. Like they know. They know. Now, granted, some people just be like, everybody's judging them. They're just like overly sensitive. You touch them and they just fall apart like a $2 suitcase. But I'm talking about solid people, because super women are solid women. We're high achievers. We get it done, make it happen, hold it together type of women. And so we're not fragile. We don't easily fall apart. And so, having said that, let me just jump right in on the conversation. So I'm having a conversation with a superwoman yesterday, and actually the other day, and she was telling me that the way that her mini-me talks to her and responds to her, that there's times where she literally wants to punch her mini-me in the face. Okay, that's why I said no judgments, because this is a real-time issue. Now, has she punched him in the face? No, she hasn't. Did she punch him in the face? No, she didn't. She didn't. She really didn't. And believe me, this kid, if this kid was punched in the face, this kid would tell somebody. And so there's no physical abuse in this situation. However, I wanted to talk about the realness of this, because she's a small aspect, what do they call it? The microcosm. What? I forgot the word, but you know what it is. I think I should take a time to look it up, but I'm not. I think it's like a microcosm, something like that. However you say the word or whatever, it just escapes me right now. But anyway, she's a small portion of real women's experience. There are other mothers, and maybe it's not a punch in the face. Maybe it's a slap in the face. Maybe it's a punch in the chest, or, whatever the case may be. it's the behavior of the mini-me that makes the mother want to be aggressive, makes the mother want to be forceful and and aggressive and forceful in a way that would harm their child. It would do more damage than good, right? And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because it is a real time issue. So let's have some real talk. So I want to say that me personally, I get it. I get it because my mini-me is an adult now, but I went through all of those life stages with my mini-me. And our roughest patch was in my mini-me's, her preteen years when she was like 12 going into 13. That year and a half, OMG. It was like, oh, Lord Jesus. I don't know who you pray to, but I know I had to call on God, okay? Multiple times a day, every day, because that girl, I wanted to choke her out. Oh my gosh. And it's not so much that she was a bad kid, because in my opinion, she wasn't a bad kid. It was just simply all that was going on in my life. Number one, I was a single parent. So there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure. But two, there was a lot of sacrifice. And so it was just kind of like all that I had going on in my life and trying to raise this child and manage this child, my life, her life, and everything. It was a lot of stress. It was a lot of pressure. And as I'm coming up with solutions and trying to implement them and trying to keep her and I on one accord and giving her instructions to help her understand like where we are, what we're doing, why we're moving this way, so that we can, have some harmony, have some agreement. Oh, woo! Let me tell you, this is a confession. This is a confession because, it's just real. And I'm just going to tell on myself. And like I said earlier, no judgments. So I remember one day, I was telling her to do something, and she was, in her little preteen attitude, just kind of talking back to me, and I wasn't in the space to handle that in the moment, in that moment. And that's why it's important to talk. That's why it's important to, process the stuff that's going on with you or whatever, because all it takes is a moment. So this one day, we were at my sister's house. This one day, I wasn't there for it that day. Like, there was too much going on, and she wasn't being cooperative, and she was, talking back about something. And the next thing I know, I had gripped her up and lifted her up with one hand off the floor. Had her pinned up on the wall. And luckily, my sister was there. And so my sister called my name. And when she called my name, she called me too. And I realized, oh my gosh, like I got my child pinned up on the wall, like in the air, like, and it was a moment. It was so sudden, and it was a reaction because it was in me. And that's what I kind of want to get to in sharing, with you, that I get that your mini-me is acting out, and I get that your mini-me is, contributing to your stress and, just wearing you out. I get it. I get it. I get that they are the instrument, but I've got to point out to you that it's what's in you. It's what's in you. And I can honestly say that even though I was a praying mother, I was a praying woman and everything, and I was a spiritual woman. I didn't fully understand how to manage my stress. I didn't fully understand how to, align my spirit, my mind, and my body, and to, have peace and such. Like, I didn't always know how to do that. And so as a direct result of that situation with my daughter, I had to go within. And that's what I want to share with you, that a lot of times you're looking on the outside for solutions and answers. Well, not even solutions, for answers, but they're not without. They are within. They're within. And so I want to give you a couple of steps that you can take so that you can start getting some relief, so that you don't end up punching your mini-me in the face or lifting them up in the air and pinning them up against the wall. I'm going to spare you and your mini-me some pain. Now, I will say this. My daughter, even though she was shocked, it really shocked her because I wasn't that type of mom. I was a very patient mom. I was a mom who was listening. I was a mom who was very involved. And so, it shocked her. It didn't traumatize her, but it shocked her. And it also, brought her to enough attention to know, okay, I do need to be a little mindful of how I push my mom because it's in her. So anyway, oh my gosh, definitely got to set the boundaries. But, and I will say this too before I give you these 3 points. I was a young mother. So my daughter and me, we grew up together. So, and I didn't have, my mom wasn't there. So I didn't have that motherly upbringing. And so I had nothing to compare it to, which takes me to the steps that I would like to share with you. The first thing I want to tell you is show yourself some grace. That's the very first step. Show yourself some grace, okay? Listen, it is no cakewalk being responsible for another human being's life. That in itself is it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure. Okay. And so I want you to show yourself some grace. Forgive yourself for the thoughts that you have. Forgive yourself for some of the actions that you may have taken or failed to take, where your mini-me are concerned. Where it's concerned, show yourself some grace. The other thing that I want to tell you, the second step is don't look around you, look within. There's something going on with you. There's something internal that has to be addressed with you. And it's the only reason why you can be triggered that way. And so you got to look within. But when you're looking within, here's the most important and the third step. You got to relieve yourself of the pressure. And how do you do that? You pray. You talk to God. Whoever God may be to you, talk to God. Okay? How do you look within? You go to God. How do you relieve yourself of the pressure? You go to God. And I said this simple prayer and made this simple request, and I'm sharing it with you. God, show me how to be the mother that my mini-me needs me to be. Because that is the deal, Superwoman. It's not the mother that you want to be. It's not the mother that you know how to be. It's the mother that your mini-me needs for you to be. And for some of you, it's multiple. And so there's no cookie cutter with this. You've really got to hear from God and get those answers for yourself. So those are my thoughts. Those are the 3 action steps that I would share with you, but I want to know your thoughts. So leave a comment and always connect with me on social media at Ray Share Solutions. Bye for now.